No YouTube straight?
This is the Home Server Show, episode number 228, recorded on Wednesday, June 26th. It's 8-1 day. Welcome back to the Home Server Show. I'm your host, David McCabe. I'm joined by my co-host, Mr. Jim Collison. How are you doing tonight, Jim?
Good. Happy software release day to you.
Happy the day we've been waiting for since October 26th. Or is that when 8 was released?
Yeah, well, the only thing better would be if they were full version GA, all previews today.
True. But this is the day that we have been waiting for, although we kind of got our cake and our icing a couple of days ago, didn't we?
Yeah, for sure. With server coming out, and then with all the server products, and then, of course, with 8.1 today. It's been good.
Right. So we got server products released a couple of days ago. We're going to be talking about that. I've got Windows Server 2012 R2 Essentials, or all mashed that up over here, ready to install. What we're going to do is we're going to start that install tonight, and we're going to run through that. And during that install, it's not going to be all that boring. We're going to take a VM that Jim has got set up. He's going to kind of set us up in VMware, or not VMware, in VM Talk, and tell us what he's got going on and what we're going to be looking at, and then we're going to go from there. Now, the cool thing here, with my 2012 setup, we're going to use that setup week in and week out. Now, what we're going to do, Will's in chat. The chat guys are going on already, and they seem to like this chat window I'm showing him here. Chesty Puller's birthday today. Chesty Puller's still alive, J.M. Wills? I didn't know that. I should know that, but I didn't. Very famous commander in the Pacific Theater, World War II. So what we're going to do is I'm going to kind of throw it out to you guys. Okay, so he's not. Okay, sorry, podcasters. Talking to my chat room. That's where audio is kind of crazy. So sorry about that. So what we're going to do with this setup that I've got here, we're installing this on my brand new server, my HP microserver, and we're going to go week in and week out with this machine. And I'm going to kind of throw it to you guys and let you know how you want me to kind of proceed. And what I mean by that is, okay, so we're going to show you the install this week. And maybe next week we start digging into the console. Show you the console in depth and add some hard drives, maybe add some users. We're just going to take this as this is Windows Home Server 101. We're starting over from scratch. We did this long ago, and we just assume everybody out there has progressed with us from version 1 to 2011 to Essentials. And, that's just not the case. We're picking up guys that are just now getting on the home server scene, and they want to start with Essentials. They want to start with a microserver. They want to start in VMs. They're literally leapfrogging what we started with, 5 years ago, Jim. So we're just going to jump in here, and we're going to take it step by step. Now, we could do, didn't I buy DriveBender back when it was on sale?
Yeah, we both did.
Didn't I buy that? I don't even know where the key is, Jim, but we'll dig that out. Maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll throw in some storage spaces on one episode. So I think we have a lot of room to play with this little server, this HP 54L, this microserver that I've just purchased. I haven't done a thing with it. It's just sitting there stock. Can you see this thing over here? Mm-hmm, there it is. Mm-hmm. The little glowing orb here. That's my HP. And on top of it is a DS712 Synology. Next to it is the older version 1 MediaSmart server. On top of that is a iOmega, and next to it is an iOsafe Solo. So you can't see them; they're kind of off screen, but. So we're going to do that week in, week out, and I would also like to, I think that we can open this up, Jim, if you guys would like to jump on, say you have a special that you're really good. You've been running DriveBender for years and years and years. And you want to jump on and do that with us. If you want to configure an add-in with us, please, by all means, just email me or give me a private message there in the forums, podcast@homeservershow.com, and we'll talk about, getting you on the show, and then we'll configure this thing. And the end of this, Jim, is what I want to do. We'll take the end result to the meetup, and everybody coming to the meetup can finally see in person what this thing is that we configured hands-on. It'll be running, and I mean, we may be even installing this thing a couple of times.
Yeah,
we
right
may
on.
tear some stuff up.
Sounds great.
All right, so let's do that. Hey, if you want to follow us on Twitter, Home Server Show, or twitter.com/Home Server Show. Mr. Jim Collison is at jcollison, JCOLLISON. Now, one thing that I wanted to just really catch up with you, first of all, is Mr. John Stutzman out there on the blog is killing it once again with his posts. So he's got a first-time build with Server 2011 and his N40L. He's got a Part 1 and a Part 2, those posts out there. And he's also got a quick post out there on Windows Server 2012 and dedupe, so deduplication. So get out there, make sure you read those. I'm showing those on video, but you want to get out there and read these things, and maybe we can play with, like I said, some storage spaces. I think that would be kind of cool. Set that up, tear it up, and then if we need to start over, we start over. But I think that we can make this work and make it a series, and just push it all the way into September to the meetup. And speaking of meetup, Jim, I checked. Have you checked the Evite?
Yeah,
I mean the Eventbrite.
I did. We're getting close to that 4.0.
I just checked, and there are 50 remaining registrations, which that means there are 40 registered. So that is amazing, guys. I appreciate you guys doing that, and I can't even fathom, Jim. That's already double what we usually get. So
I know we got a couple that are bringing a couple. I think Gordon is going to bring his better half with him, and Charles Thompson says he's bringing 3. So
wow.
we've got we got some groups coming now. So good stuff.
Yeah, that's going to be really good. And I've got I'm this close, Jim. This close. Look in your video. This close to signing a contract with the main sponsor.
Oh, nice.
So we have the main sponsor. So we will be able to pull this off. I will be able to pay for it after all. I'm not able to feed you yet, so
that'll come. That'll be easy.
I'm still waiting for that lunch and breakfast sponsor. But yeah, I think I can pull those off. I got a box from IOSafe the other day, so I got a lot of giveaway items from IOSafe. So thank you very much, guys, from IOSafe. And I've also it's not a box, but it's about this big and this thick, and it's a lot of power, and it's from SkyDrive. So we got some giveaways from SkyDrive. So if you can imagine, it's a little extra storage to be thrown your way from the SkyDrive folks. So thank you very much, SkyDrive. And of course, I read you that list.
Yeah.
Oh, what was it, 2 weeks ago? All that good stuff that we're going to be giving away. All kinds of good stuff.
I got a copy of 2011 that we're giving away as well.
That's right. Copy of 2011. So that stuff will continue to roll in. It'll get better and better and better. I imagine, hopefully, everybody will leave with at least something. So, all right, Jim. Are you ready to get installing?
Let's rock it.
Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3 keyboards right here, and I have to get another one.
You know, Dave, when we started, as you're just getting that set up, I'll say the download process was actually really, really simple. There were 2 different ways to do it, and one was this weird Akamai download, crazy, click on this, and you had to install a little plug-in and get it downloaded, and I did that the first time, and I don't know what I got myself into, but that's not the one you want.
Was that the typical Microsoft download manager?
Yeah,
Because they
no,
do
it
have a
wasn't.
download manager.
Wasn't the typical download manager. No,
Okay.
it was just weird. It was weird. Was going in a hurry, so I didn't pay much attention, and I ended up going back to the TechNet page to get it, and I just went to TechNet and grabbed the download for it, and that just downloaded like a typical. You get a typical ISO, and I move those ISOs off to a spot on the network for storage, and then I install everything through the VM box off that right from those ISOs. So I just point that over to that area on the external storage and say load that ISO, and it installs pretty quick. I think you'd be surprised. The install is actually pretty fast. It's all the setup it does on the backside that takes a while. So we'll be working our way through that when we get there.
Right, and I saw it even in chat, and some guys in the forums were talking about how their Untangle installs are not working with the Akamai downloader. So.
Yeah, no, don't use it. If it says you got to do it, go find the other link. There's in TechNet, you can go to the regular download page if you got a TechNet or MSDN subscription and download it from there for sure. Don't download it from their regular page.
All right. Let me switch camera views here. So, where is it? There it is. So what we've got here now. This is a camera view of a monitor, and so that's horrible, right? But I'm not doing this in a VM, so I can't do a remote desktop to it and capture the screen. So when we do get it installed, we'll be able to do a remote desktop and get this thing installed. And show you nice and clear screen of what's going on. So we'll be able to do that. So this is the first screen that comes up. Now this is my N54L, and I haven't modified it at all, Jim. I'm not even sure what it comes with, honestly. I just turned the thing on. So Joe Miner's in the chat. He can feed us. I think it's got 2 gigs of RAM, right? So it's base.
Yeah, you haven't done anything to it.
250 gig
spinner
standard hard drive. I think that's SATA. Isn't it a SATA 2 drive? It's nothing fancy.
I don't know, but probably remember. 2 or 3. John will tell us here in a second.
And what I did is I downloaded it just like you said from John saying SATA 2. Downloaded it from TechNet, and I went and used what's called the Windows 7 USB DVD download tool. Now, I don't know if you guys remember that thing or not, but so you just have to search Windows 7 USB tool, and I think that you'll get right to it. So when Microsoft sold Windows 7, they sold it on their store where you could download it. And they'd give you this free little piece of software, so you'd get an ISO, and then you'd use this ISO to either burn a CD or burn it to a USB stick and make that stick bootable. Well, you can use that with any ISO, and I use it hundreds and millions of times. Jim, I assume that's what you're using?
Yeah.
It works. It works so well. There's
about
1 billion posts out there on how to use this thing. It's not rocket science. I think there's something in our forums and in our website as well. So I have a little USB stick sticking out of this thing right underneath the green power button, you can see. And we're at the, get the right mouse. Language to install, English, US, keyboards, all that kind of good stuff. Install now. I thought it was going to ask me for that temporary key. So it's going to install. We'll come back to that screen when we can. Now, Jim, why don't you go ahead and just start us with the basics of your installation. And yes, it did ask me for the key, so I have to dig.
You'll need the key. I could read it to you if you want.
It's the same key for everybody.
It's exactly the same key for everybody, but you will need it. You will not be able to get around it. You won't be able to get around it. And the setup's pretty, actually, Dave, the setup itself while you're doing that, while you're working on it.
Okay, yeah.
The setup itself is a pretty boring process. You'll go through a couple screens, set up where you want it to go, put in the key, and then kind of walk away from it for 20 or 15 or 20 minutes. So pretty standard. If you've done it before on Windows 8 or even Windows 7, very similar install to that. Nothing new and exciting, coming that way. I will show you. Basically there is the dashboard look now, and if you flip over to that, Dave, I don't know if they're seeing my screen or not.
Oh,
But
here, I was digging out my key. I'll go to yours. So there we see you.
so the dashboard manager really hasn't changed very much at all. Nothing I could really see in there for the most part, as far as what's available to you. So you've got on the home screen, of course, you've got users and groups. You have those in there. I just have one user associated with this. Um, on the devices tab, I've got in this case, I've got the server down below here, as well as a Windows 7 VM that I've attached to this, and I've actually got another. I think I have a Windows 8 machine ready to go. A little bit later, we'll show you how to make the connector work. So that did change slightly, and it takes a little bit longer.
So you have a 2012 server.
I do have 2012 server bare metal.
Right, not essentials.
No, this is essentials.
Oh, it's essentials. Okay.
It is essentials. Yeah. So
now,
Dave, I messed around with both. So
is it R2?
This is R2.
So
yeah.
Did you go through? I mean, did it go through that installation where it asked you what role you want it to be?
Well, it asks you. There's a bunch of things that ask you once you get in there, once you get the setup, and as you walk through yours tonight.
Correct. That's where I didn't want to confuse anybody. So
yeah,
we're ready. I'm ready for you. I've got the key put in there. So we're gonna go ahead and give that a next.
Okay.
I typed it in right. That would be embarrassing. All right. So we get the license agreement. Okay, so we're at the upgrade, install Windows and keep files, settings, and applications, custom install Windows only. I didn't think it would. Maybe that's the old days. So
it's still, you could still do either one. I always choose the custom install, and in most cases, I do that so I can see where it's going to load it to. I kind of look, it gives you representation.
I don't know if I double-clicked or it just went, but I did click in
You're fine.
custom.
It's a first install, so it's going to do its thing. It's going to go run off and grab that hard drive.
So there's a little 350 meg partition system reserved on this HP.
Yep.
And we're going to go into. I used to go into the extended. But I'm just going to go in there. I know. I think I installed Essentials on this.
Oh.
And I never really even booted into it. So just to keep it clean, I'm going to format that thing.
Yeah, blow that partition away. I even blow away that little extra 350 meg one and let it recreate it when I'm doing it. One of the things, just as we're waiting, one of the things in the process I did is before I put 2012 Essentials R2 or it's actually Windows Server 2012 R2 Essentials. That's the real name of it. Before I did that, I loaded it as a VM, or I loaded it, as a VM on top of Windows Server 2012 Standard. No R2, just Standard. And of course, I didn't know this at the time because I'm new to the VM world, but you can't virtualize on top of virtualization. And so if you do install Essentials on top of anything that already has virtualization going on it, it will show the Hyper-V role as installed and working, but you don't have access to it on the guest. You just can't. It just won't let you do it. So maybe you can. I couldn't get it done. And so after I messed around with that for a while late in the evening the other night, I said, what the heck, I'm going to go ahead and blow this away, and I'm going to put R2 Essentials bare metal. That's going to be my base, because that's really what I think from a community standpoint we want to see is R2 Essentials, can that be the base OS for all the things that we do around virtualization? That's kind of the question I wanted to answer in the process of getting this set up.
Okay. Yeah, that was going to be one of my questions, and especially going through this install and wanting to show everybody, because it's supposed to come up with a question saying, do you want this to be, I don't even know the correct nomenclature to call it, if you want it to be the VM role or just a 2012 Essentials.
Yeah, I read that in the instructions, but it was never presented to me when I did the install.
Okay.
And maybe I was sleepy because it was 1:30 in the morning when I was trying to do it. Maybe I missed it. My goal was really to get it installed. I wanted to mess with Hyper-V once it was installed. So my goal was to get, I wasn't paying too much attention on install, was paying more attention once we got it installed.
Okay, so we'll see that. Mine is at 51%, getting files ready for installation. So I will try to find, if I can, the a little bit of help on that. So you've got your 2012 server as a base. You installed a VM role on it.
2012 R2 Essentials.
Okay.
And
what kind of box are you running, and what kind of hardware? Give me some.
Yeah, so it's a Dell Precision Workstation 690. It's got 2 CPUs, Xeon 2.3 gigahertz processors, and it's stacked with 32 gig of RAM. So it's got a little juice. It runs at about 375 watts when it's idling. So it moves out, nicely. And then the OS drive are 3 of these 150 gig, 10,000 RPM drives that I got from Kevin Schoonover. And you can get these like goharddrive.com. They're like $50 right now if you want to get this exact same. They're SATA 2. The entire box is a SATA 2 box, so no SATA 3 for me in this. But that board's got that LSI RAID 0 and 1 up top, and so I RAID 0'd 3 of these in there, and I'm getting incredible speeds on them. I posted all that in the forums if folks want to go back and look at the benchmarks. So that's what that's running on. And then at the advice of Mike Fauché, I actually installed a 1 terabyte drive in there as the data drive. He was like, "Oh, you got to get your VMs off the OS drive. That's not good. You don't want to be running those on the OS drive." So
okay,
yeah. So I actually
that's a good point.
Yeah.
There is you don't want all that gnashing on that hard drive.
Right, on the OS drive itself. Yeah. So I just snagged a 1 terabyte green drive out of the Drobo behind me and threw that in there. And so all the data now is just going to a single. I get about 90 on that. It's not great, but it's not horrible either. I mean, it works in most cases from a speed perspective. So it could be faster, and I'm going to order some faster drives, and I'm going to build out. Got a Rocket RAID card, and I'm going to build out the data drive in RAID. But so that's what I'm storing, or I'm loading the VMs and everything to that 1 terabyte external drive or internal drive.
Okay, and so just to back that up, you got a data drive in there, and what you're doing is you're carving out little pieces of for operating systems that you're going to run on there. So maybe you would give
Let me throw that
Windows
up real
8
quick.
200 gig or something.
Yeah, Dave, if you want to throw that up real quick,
Okay.
I've got a screenshot of what the VM manager looks like. It'll be pretty small. If you're watching this live on YouTube, you might be able to get it up big enough that you can see it. But right now, I've got 4 VMs loaded on it. So I got a Windows 7 Pro, I got a Windows 8 Pro, I have the new 8.1 preview that I just loaded this afternoon. And then I thought, hey, I wonder if I could load 2012 as R2 Essentials on top of itself. And so I've got a VM of that as well running, and haven't had time to mess with it. I just got too late last night, so I went to bed, and then I haven't had time to mess with it today. But it is there. It's not currently running at the moment. Well, no, I guess they all are running at the moment. I've got all 4 of them running, and so I carved out little drives for them. So like the Windows 7, I went with 100 gig hard drives, 4 gig of RAM that I set dynamically, and just began to carve those up and put those in there.
Okay. So I think I'm right that I should be able to. Mine is rebooting right now. Somewhere it should ask me a question if you want to do like traditional or you want to install it as a VM. I think it's going to ask me that in here. Chat room.
I think it's coming up, Dave. And once it's installed, it's going to run through a bunch of things for you. And I think it's yet coming up in the wizard. There's an install wizard that walks through a bunch of roles for you. So
okay. So essentially, I mean, this thing is Server 2012. It just has a little check mark in there for us that says Essentials.
Yeah, and what's interesting is I tried to read through the documentation to get some clarity on what that means, but you can enable this Essentials. They're calling it the Essentials Experience. And you can enable this in any of the versions of Server at this point, R2 and above. and in both data center and standard, you can enable the essentials role and get these options. It expands, the backup options and the other pieces that you would
Oh.
normally expect in essentials.
So here's the rookie mistake. I'm talking, and I let this thing reboot, and look what I did. I let
I
it
can't.
reboot with
Yeah.
the USB stick still in it. How many times have you
Oh,
guys done that? I know
ouch.
you've done it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we're gonna do just.
Well, as you're fixing that, what I've really liked, I mean,
I don't think I can power it down, Jim.
what I was looking forward to is having, that Hyper-V role available to me in a bare metal install of 2012 or 2 Essentials. That's kind of what I was looking forward to. That, for me, for the home server, home user, average tech guy using this, I think now we really have the perfect OS for home for the average tech guy, maybe above average tech guy for you, Dave. Um,
I am the average guy now.
yeah. Well, it's now that I've gotten hooked on Hyper-V, it is really cool to have this. It came just at the perfect time for me because now it's embedded in that, and I can run, if I want to, I can run, Essentials base and still get those Hyper-V roles and get everything that I had in server standard before, as well as the Essentials experience. And I just think that's a perfect combo. And up to
Yeah.
100 devices.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think waiting, because I was always, well, why would I move from 2011 when it works? Mine works,
Yeah.
mine
Yeah.
works, mine works.
Yeah.
And I've also said to you in the last couple of months, I need to reduce my footprint. I've got too much stuff running. And should I go with VMs? But I really don't want to manage the headache. I don't want to.
Yeah.
So now that this thing's going to come just default, it can load up in a VM environment, and I can just throw on other stuff. So I can throw in some other things and start experimenting.
Yeah, and I think, I think for the average guy, I think you don't have to go to standard now as your base. I think you can start with Essentials as your base, and then use Hyper-V for Windows 8 testing or Windows, to run Windows 7 VMs or whatever, however you Ubuntu, whatever you want to run. It'll run in that environment, and you don't have to get caught up in a and you can run Essentials on top of Essentials, which is what they're touting, that I can have Essentials running as the base and not ever mess with that, and then have Essentials in a VM doing the backup and doing the Essentials experience role that's in there. And so you could do that as well. That seems a little odd. That's kind of what I've got set up right here. No, the hang up is, and I haven't gotten through this all the way either, is Essentials cannot join, right? It's the same deal. Essentials cannot join a network that already has a domain controller on it. So that didn't change. So that's still a requirement going forward. So that could be,
Okay.
that could catch you. And there was some chat about Active Directory, and to be honest with you, it just flew over my head, and I haven't had time to get all the way dig in on all that yet. So I'm kind of the rookie there. I should be better at that, but I just haven't messed with it.
Well, that's something we're going to have to dig into. And once again, that's going to be something that we look at in this series of tearing this box apart is, how do we treat Active Directory? And should we put in WSUS on it? Try some things out. So, again, we're going to be doing this week in and week out. You guys, if you want to help jump into a podcast, you can certainly jump on, and I'll just have the screen, and you guys tell me what to do, and we'll click and we'll configure, and we'll get it done. We'll be mad scientists with this installation here. So, it still says getting devices ready. So I'll show you.
Yeah, that'll take a while.
12%. We've been at 12% for a while. So.
Yeah, that'll take a few. This part is the long part of the install. It'll just take a while for that to go all the way through.
All right, so, well, maybe we should cut to commercials and, we don't have commercials.
You can
wait for, this will be the boring part of the
Well, let me go back. Let me go back to the desktop. For folks who haven't seen what
for video.
dashboard looks like, right? Or what
Now
that.
this is dashboard of your 2012
This is
or
the
your
2012
essentials?
very bottom. This is the very base, right? So this
Okay,
is
this
the
is your
dashboard.
base.
This is 2012 R2 Essentials, and this is the dashboard associated with it. And like I said, not a lot has changed, but if you haven't messed with Windows Home Server before, this and all this talk is new to you. This is the dashboard controller. Pretty easy to use. Not a lot to it in this, in the sense that right here we're looking at the devices. I did attach a Windows 7 VM to it, and you can double click on that and see the backups. I don't know if you can see those. See the backups. It's already completed a backup for today. I put that in this morning, as well as some warnings and some risks and critical. I have not put antivirus on it yet, so it's telling me I get a little critical X on there that says, hey, you might want to install some antivirus on there. I haven't done that on Windows 7. And then you can see the server down below, and I have not set up a server backup yet. And of course, you need a external or some other kind of drive on there that's not part of the system to do backups on server. So in the case of my 2011 box, I have that going to an IOSafe Solo, fire and waterproof in case the house burns down. All my server data and backups are on the Solo there, but you can't back that up to itself. It wants you to put it on another drive. Then now this is also, again, same thing we've always seen, but these are the server folders. And Dave, I did get that reminder again. I said, hey, we don't like having server folders on the C drive. So it will warn you if all you have is one drive when you go to install it. It's going to give you a warning that says not a best practice to keep that on your C drive going forward. And then here's the hard drives here. You can see I've got that 415 gig worth of rated drives for C, and then a one hard drive volume for. In this case, I changed it to S for share. I just like to do that. And that's that 1 terabyte drive. And I don't have any applications. I haven't stored any on that. So this is kind of base out of the box. This is, with installing one computer to it at this point. That's all I've done.
So you've got your C drive and your data drive.
Yep.
And your data drive is just for VMs. That's not home server, quote unquote, data, music, videos.
Well, in my case, I've mixed the two. So I'm keeping.
Okay.
Yeah, the data from the VMs are on there, and I'm using those as the data drives for Essentials.
Okay.
It lets you do both.
Okay,
right?
It does.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But I think that we would probably recommend that you might not wanna.
Yeah, you might not want to.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
It just depends,
So
right? You could.
Are you doing that whole? I guess, are you going to like back up your VMs, take some snapshots, and set up a plan where you can do that, or are these just throwaway installs like 8.1 is kind of?
Exactly. For now, this is really my test box.
Okay.
So I've installed server on it probably 4 or 5 times in the last 3 weeks. So another trick I'm doing is I'm using the trial version. Before the preview came out, I was doing the trial version. Now I use the preview from here on out probably, but the trial version doesn't require a key, so I don't have to burn one for my TechNet.
That's what I did too. I put the trial on there.
Yeah, I've been talking a lot about that. That's one of those things that you could, even if you don't have TechNet, you can use the trial. So you can give those a shot. They last for 180 days, and if you just want to try something out, it's a great way to do it. So I've been rolling those over and over and over, as now that the preview's out and we get a free key and it doesn't cost you anything, I will use that key from here on out. And Dave, I bet every couple of weeks I'll be blowing it away and trying different things with it, just to give it something different. I've got some more drives coming in the next couple of weeks, so I'll probably break those in or put those into a RAID and then reinstall everything again and do some testing.
Okay. I've done some homework behind the scenes before I went on vacation. Working with my Windows Home Server 2011 server, and I freed up a couple of hard drives out of that. So they're sitting over here. I'm ready to put those in, but I didn't want to do that. I thought we'd just do that on an episode so people can see. I've got to really figure out how to get the box over here and get a camera on it, and then do all of that live so we can get that recorded. It is still sitting at 12%. That worries me.
I'm
not worried.
I don't know.
Now my little
it seemed you'll get a blue
curly
screen.
queue of dots is still rolling. So
yeah, yep. Yeah, you're probably fine. I remember as I was looking at that, it took a while to get past that point, especially with the slow CPU. I had 3 or 4 VMs loading at the same time last night, and it was bogging things down a smidge, and that seemed to, if I remember correctly, that seemed to go for a while.
All right. So we'll wait for that to go. We're going to go ahead and say, hey, we're going to recommend. Yeah, you got your data drive, and I don't know, is 1 terabyte enough?
For now.
How many VMs have they said how many you can run on this thing?
I don't know what the theoretical limit is. I'd imagine for me, I probably won't get any more than 10. I know Martis has got 30 or something,
Right.
like that.
Well,
He doesn't run
even
them all the time.
Joe Miner in the forums, he's done quite a few.
Yeah. Yeah, you can set them and turn them on and off based on needs. So, in my case, I think so. I've got all 4 VMs running right now. Let's just bring up the task manager.
Okay, let me go to
Take a look
your
at
screens.
performance. So with 4 VMs running, now I'm not doing anything on them at this point, but
so they're all booted up.
They're all booted up and running, and I'm running about 6%, between 6 and 10% CPU, about 14 gig of memory in those, and not even taxing the network. Now I'm not.
That
doing
is the unmistakable advantage you have, though, Jim. Starting with core server hardware, 32 gigs of RAM is just a tremendous amount of RAM.
Yeah, it was pretty cool that I could come across it and be able to load that up again. Thanks to Kevin Schoonover who discovered that amount for me and shipped it over to me to get that set up that way. So.
Yeah, I mean that's a phenomenal size of RAM.
Yeah.
Something I'm not going to get in my little 2 gig N54L, of course.
Well, but think about it. If I had just 16 at this point, I would be getting close to, with 4 VMs. Now, I set up all those VMs with 4 gig of RAM, but I ran them dynamically. So that means they're supposed to only take what they're using. And let me see in here. I saw that the other. Well, anyways, I'll look for that here in a second. But yeah, but still, if I had just 16, I would be pretty maxed. I'd be pretty close to being maxed out on. And again, 4 at a time is maybe more than most people are going to do. So, but that tells you how fast it can go.
Okay, sorry, I'm just typing here. Still at 12%, Jim.
Well, hang tight. If that thing's spinning, it's spinning.
So I'm going to throw this out there to the chat room. And Joe Miner's already asked, or answered my question. He said you could put 16 gig in that N54L and get about 7 to 10 VMs in that. So that was going to be my question: is how many you guys pushed it to, and answer me in the forums. But the other guys in the chat, J.M. Wells, he's saying he runs 8 all the time. So that's 8 booted up, guys. I mean, 8 installs. I don't even know why you would need 8 booted up.
Well, in an enterprise or semi-enterprise environment, that's pretty easy.
Oh, sure.
But to put 8 together at once,
yeah. I mean, I guess you could run
server, your SQL box, and you're probably running 2 Exchange servers for redundancy, and maybe 2 SQL boxes. So there's 4 right there.
You guys are running
a couple web servers,
Untangle and stuff. So running a little extra pfSense, Untangle, all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah.
So we'll definitely get in on that, and we'll play with that on this one. I think I was going to go ahead and set it up as the VM type setup if we ever get to that portion of the install, and I definitely have to upgrade the RAM, so I probably
You're
should
at
go ahead
right now.
Yeah, I mean it's stock.
Yeah,
it's stock.
Yeah.
So I'll go ahead and buy that, and we'll just do that live on a show. If anybody there's probably a bazillion YouTubes out there on it. I know John Stutzman and the guys have documented that.
Yeah, for sure.
Fairly easily.
Yeah.
So, but we'll still do it. Still stuck at 12, Jim.
Very nice.
That's ruining my
I know. You're like,
my
I want to.
flow.
I want to get this done. I want to get it done. I did pull up the VM manager. If again, I'm just stalling. Hopefully that'll come off
Stalling
12%
for
here
time.
for you in a little bit. But I did bring up the VM manager full screen. You can see the
Okay, so you
four
got
there.
7 Pro, 8 Pro. You got 8.1 preview. And Windows
Whoops.
Server
Sorry.
2012 R2 I saw listed there.
Yeah, there you go. Yep. Yeah, that's
Now,
what's on
and
there.
you've assigned memory.
Yeah, and I thought I assigned 4 gig to each of them. This is when we went through and did that. I was, you know what? Maybe I didn't with those. It's very possible that I forgot to click the dynamic memory for the Windows 7 Pro and the server, and so I'm dynamic on the Windows 8 Pro and the 8 Preview. Those are dynamic. The other two just took all 4, and I could probably take those down, change that to dynamic, and fire them back up, and they'd be fine. So I would probably be even using a little bit less memory if I had those, because certainly 2012 Essentials does not run heavy for the most part. It runs pretty light in the memory, so maybe a gig or so, fully fired up, just kind of sitting idle. And we know Windows 7 doesn't take a full 4 gig to run. That'll.
Okay.
So
Well, I
those
think
would be less.
I've almost convinced myself already, just thinking this through my head, and of course knowing Essentials over the past year, that when it does get released, I will have to do that hard drive dance and put it on the server that I have today and just start moving data around. I've got plenty of hard drives, plenty of network attached storage around the house that I can move data and keep it redundant and then do a fresh install on the hardware that I have today.
So John says in chat to view alerts, and I do have some alerts here that are here. And so, and under there's a new health monitoring tab. I don't know if that's in the old one or not, but health monitoring. And you can see here, this is where I was talking a little bit earlier. I do have one critical. These are on the PCs that I've attached. The critical one says virus protection's turned off. So that's a base 7 install. I installed it, I rebooted it once, and it's done. I didn't do anything else to it. So it's probably ready for an update or two and some antivirus to be put on it. And there's some important updates that need to be installed on that, as well as on the server. I have not enabled update automatically, so I need to go in there on the server and get that updated. So there's some alerts there as well. John also mentions they did remove the view alerts. They removed it from the Launchpad.
Okay.
I never used the Launchpad, to be honest with you. That was the most.
True. I barely used it. You know what you're missing though, Jim? Is the Windows Phone 8, so you can use the My Server app. I don't know if you guys can see that on there. The top one is the My Home Server. That's 2011, and then My Server is the 2012. My Media Center was the
Dave, if you pop over, I got Windows 7 up right now, and I just installed the connector on it, this morning or so. And you can see it does create this shared folder icon there for you now right on the desktop. So it goes right in, whatever. And again, I have not configured those folders at all. I just left them as they were. But you can go in there, and it creates a shared folder icon for you.
Okay, so you're running, that's your Windows 7 that's running.
That's Windows 7 that has the connector installed.
Okay.
And then I have a Windows 8 booted up here that has, let me pull, I thought I had one sec here. I had a connector ready to go, so let me find that. I think that's on my 8 box. 1 second here. Nope, that's 2012. Jeez, I got too many damn VMs. 1 sec here. Oh, let me get that started. There we go. That had gone to sleep. We'll bring it back to life. So, in a second here, I'll bring that back up again, and then I can show you what the connector install looks like too. So in this case,
how do you feel like the responsiveness is of the Windows 7 running in the VM?
Oh, fine.
Just fine.
Fine. Yeah, it's not going to be lightning quick.
Sure.
But But for what I'm doing here, fine. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to show you. Ooh, there's an ugly face on your screen.
Yeah. Let's see if there we go. So there's the connector now at this point, and this did take, from my memory, it's been a while since I put a connector on anything, I know that sounds kind of weird. But,
Hey, same with me.
yeah.
I haven't put a connector on in years.
And it's the same thing. In this case, this server's named Collison server. And so it's just http://Collison server/connect. Get you in for anybody new.
Right.
And again, this is going to be your typical, I'm going to accept the license agreement. It's going to download the connector. It's still got that crazy 4.5 runtime, the .NET.
Right, the .NET install that it needs.
That takes forever. And then it's got an update when you're done.
Of course.
As soon as you're done. So that's going to run through it. And this has not been, I know Paul Breran sent out a note, I think it was last night, and he had tested the connectors and said the backups were fast and fine. We'll watch this in real time, but I have not found this connector install in the couple times I've done it so far to be fast at all. It still seems pretty slow. But that doesn't matter, right? I'm just being picky.
That's okay.
For the most part, nobody's can complain about that.
Still at 12%, but the hard drive light it's beeping in there. So
John Will says in chat, he says it seriously, it does sound like they're stealing stuff from SharePoint. John, of course, a big SharePoint guy, and yeah, they probably are. There's some management stuff that's going to come together. Stuff they've done in other places, they're going to bring back into the server. So that's certainly, we're going to see that from Microsoft for sure going forward. It does feel like a little bit more, Dave, Windows Home Server always felt like a second-class server citizen, so to speak. It's kind of like, well, let's take this server and we'll rip out the guts of it so you can't use it as a server, and we'll add some, functionality backup, where they did a really nice job of that until they killed Drive Extender. But it always felt like a second-class server citizen. You would never run Windows Home Server in any kind of enterprise environment. Now we're going to run, if we're going to choose to run this in our home environment, we're going to run the same stuff that's going to run in some enterprises or some small businesses. And I actually think that's good. I think that's a good thing for this and not a bad thing.
Yeah, it certainly is growing up. It has come a long way.
Yeah, and they'll never call it home server again, but I think they realized they're not going to get any traction from the word home server from the average consumer, but they will get us to move on with the next versions of it. And of course, as enthusiasts, we're going to recommend this to every small business owner that we know. We're going to say, yeah, this is what you should be running. This is a great small business tool now. And Dave, we haven't even talked about it. We'll have to do this on future shows. When I went back to let me minimize this here for a second, and we'll go back to the dashboard. There is all kinds of, on the Getting Started tab, there's all kinds of, Azure's all over this, and some, Office 365, and some of those things are, that's coming in this with some connectivity pieces. So there's register. Of course, you can register it, but you can integrate it with Microsoft Office 365, integrate it with Intune, integrate it with Windows Azure Backup, integrate it with Exchange Server for us on Essentials. And I think that was there before, but again, this is some good stuff that's there. It's pretty diverse. And Rennie asked me if I'm joining it to a domain. I did create a domain for this. It is running with a domain right now. I did not. Paul last night ran the same hack that he has to fix it so that doesn't do it, and it works. So that has not broken yet. So if you want to not do it with the domain, you can.
Well, that's
still there.
That's good that there's an option.
Yeah, it's a workaround. I mean, it's not legit it's a workaround, but you still can do it, and he posted that, I think, last night.
So your domain server is the essential server itself.
The server now, yeah.
Okay.
But it doesn't do anything at this point. I mean, I set it up because I didn't want to monkey around. I was trying to get to some other stuff. So I just said yes, yes, yes.
But your connector
Yes.
installs, they all have to, they're
They
now
will.
domain joined.
Yes, they
So
are.
there's a Control-Alt-Delete type login.
Yes. Yep, there is.
There's no just log it right in.
No,
Just
and that's
slip
not my
right
everyday.
by.
Yeah, those aren't my everyday boxes either. So I'm not having to deal with that from that standpoint. I mean,
But when those go out to the family, say, all right, family, bring me your laptops.
hey, family. Yeah.
Guess what?
Yeah, no, I'll have to. Yeah, no, you're right. We have to. It's
to
the same. It's the same story from last year. I
remember
mean,
another
same song,
password.
second verse, right?
Yeah.
That did not change. Oh yeah, Greg mentions also in chat. Paul did say it kills DNS, so maybe it's not totally ready for prime time if you're running DNS off your server, which I don't recommend. But
Well, I mean that's going to be very, very limited in the home situation that we're running it in. But
yeah, no, I would think
if
so.
you're okay with that.
So that connector's done. No, did I hold on? Let's see. There it is, right there. No, as you can see, it's still running. If you've got my screen up. So that how long have we? I mean,
Okay,
you're still
let me
at
look to your
12%?
screen.
Are you still at 12?
Yeah.
Yeah, something's wrong there.
Something's wrong there. Thanks. You're like earlier. No, everything's fine. Everything's fine. Nothing to see here. Please move along. Well, the system requirements is 512 megs of RAM,
Yeah.
32 gigs of hard drive space.
Icon saying that if I create a domain, I really should run the DNS on the server. I don't know. I wouldn't, but that's just me, and I'm still new to it. So
I would probably not do the workaround, just because I don't like the monkey too much under the hood. You know, I can see a lot of people not wanting to have that domain join thing.
Yeah.
Well, I heard hard drives, but that's the Synology box pumping away back there. Yeah, so Jim, I'll show everybody on cam.
Icon says I'll regret it. So, well, I'm not going to do it anytime soon. So I'll be all right.
Jim,
at this
you'll
point.
regret it.
Yeah, he's kind of taunting me.
Jim will. Seriously, Dave, reboot that sucker.
We haven't seen Icon in live chat for a while, and he comes in and starts taunting us. Nicely done.
All right, so you want me to restart this thing?
Well,
is there a 12% bug?
I shouldn't be, but I'd reboot it. John Zadler says the connector performance has been improved significantly by reducing its memory and CPU usage. Well, John, I'm not sure they increased its install performance because it has been a dog. So it just takes a while to install. There better be a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. It's not, as you can see, it's still running.
show you. I mean, you can see. Oh, now it's not doing anything. This light right here.
Uh-oh.
Can you barely see it?
I can barely see it.
Yeah, this is power and this is hard drive flashing.
Wah wah wah. Tone says you could go back to 1983 and hit it.
Right here. Oh.
So this is, John, this is a install on Windows 8.
I'm going to show you the hard drive flashing, guys, here.
Okay.
It's pumping away.
Oh, okay, still long. Yeah, it's taken a while.
And it's not like it's just a steady, pattern. It's not a pattern. The blinkety light is blinking. So I don't know what to tell
Greg says it's a 2 gig of RAM.
Well, I don't doubt that. I think that's true.
I don't think so. I don't think that's killing it. I mean, I don't totally disagree with you, Greg, but I think you should install with 2 gig. It runs at about 1. So
Well, why wouldn't it
yeah,
install?
yeah,
I got 2012 essentials to install on this thing.
yeah. Slowing it, I would agree. It's probably slowing. It's not, it just depends on how much RAM it's got to use in an
It didn't
install. And I
take
don't
this
know
long.
what that is. Does it spike up on an install? Does the RAM usage spike up for most OSs during the install?
Someday, I need a seatbelt to contain my excitement. Yes, we're going to bore you to death with an install. That's just what we're doing. Well, we can wrap this up, Jim. I mean, I can reboot the thing. My grand experiment is kind of flaming out
No,
in
that's all
the
right. That's all right.
the first day.
We got some views in on for all those who want to see. Yeah, I even put the new. This is 8.1, and there's your start button. Ladies and gentlemen, this has got to be the most anticlimactic start button I've ever seen in my whole life, Dave. Is this start button? It is plain, it is white, it is boring, and it is worthless. I mean, okay, so I couldn't
There.
go. I couldn't go to the corner before.
Greg in the chat says, "I'm good. I'm eating wings." Keep going,
I'd love to
guys.
be. I'd love to be eating some wings right now. I'll tell you that.
Roasted ears.
So it's I did I put the connector on Windows 8, the 8.1? Let's take a peek here.
It's rebooting. Final Freak says, "So show the search aggregation, Jim."
What do you mean search aggregation?
Yeah, I don't know, but yes, someday. No Surface Geeks tonight, so we have time to make this a 3-hour podcast.
Which, when you edit it, we'll edit it down to about 7 minutes.
Yeah,
There's still
that's
arguing
about the
out there.
amount of useful content you're getting. 7 minutes.
On Windows 8.1, Tim? Is that what you're talking about? The search aggregation on Windows 8? Okay, well, here, we'll go back. Oh, look at that start button. Was so much easier to use. I can't believe it. Tim, what should I search for? We'll search for a home server. Oops, I gotta actually I have to click on it. Okay, why isn't it? Hold on.
Well, thanks. Now I got no percent. Same fish. No percent.
It's dead. It's dead, Jim.
Well, if you'd like to take a look at 8.1, I have 8.1 behind me. I have 8.1 on my RT, so...
Really? You went full bore and...
Yeah. So there's the... Oops. What did I just hit? I hit travel. Why did I hit travel? Where did I put my desktop? There it is. It rearranged everything. So there's the desktop. And there is the brand new button in the corner.
Powered by Bing.
Ta-da! So...
Yeah. There's a lot of back-end stuff going here. 8.1 is a little underwhelming, just to be honest. I mean, so all right. So there's some UI changes. You get the smaller tiles, or the bigger tiles. Okay, well, that's cool. And there's some like search integration. There's the new flick up to get to all apps. By the way, it's still installing the connector.
I have yet to really dig into it, so I can't really say.
Yeah, there's some back end stuff for sure going on there.
Yeah,
I don't think it's going to be the big. We've put so much emphasis on that stupid start button.
Yeah, I haven't.
I could care less.
I haven't looked at the boot times or anything, so really, I just got them rolling today. I was tweeting out pictures and stuff. About getting 8.1 installed on both. I did do the recovery backup on my RT. I've got a little USB stick hanging out of my RT, and I'm running 8.1 on it. It did do some funky, it totally screwed up my tiles, and I had to spend some time reordering those, but I can definitely see where I can make bigger tiles, smaller tiles.
Hmm.
But it's frustrating that I'm so used to Windows Phone where you long press on a tile and you get its properties in which to change its size. And then now I want to do that on my RT, and you have to do it with the toolbar and select small or select medium or select large. I haven't done. I don't like that. It's just not consistent to me. Um, the other thing that I have not done is, let me change back to.
I do like the new group features. That's kind of nice. You have
Um,
group tabs up top.
did I press it? Maybe I don't know. Did I hit it?
John said back
There
up
it
your
goes.
Windows 8 to your server before it's installed the preview add-in. I'm actually running 8 and then 8.1 just next to each other. I'm not upgrading anything. I did a
So,
brand new instance of 8.1.
right. The big thing is Outlook 2013 on my RT,
Oh
which
yeah.
I haven't done it yet,
Yeah,
but
that would be big.
yeah. No, this is gonna be
That's
this is
big.
gonna be nice.
Yeah, that's big, especially with them giving away. I shouldn't say giveaway, but them Microsoft selling these for 199 bucks out in the education environment, and if they come with Outlook on it, that's dynamite. That's legit.
Yeah.
A
No, it's
legit
gonna be
enterprise.
great.
That's a legit enterprise play there
It's
for sure.
coming along. It's coming along. And I saw news today that Flipboard is going to release a Flipboard app, which you think that's really small, but I really like Flipboard. So
Yeah.
I gather a lot of news via that way, and it'll be nice to be able to honestly to have a smaller 8-inch Windows tablet and to be flipping through my Flipboard. So I think that'll be cool. I will show you one last time. I have my fish and no percent gem. So you guys that wanted me to reboot, you set me back.
You're gonna have to do the whole thing from
You
scratch.
set me back.
You
I
are.
may have to just blow it and reinstall this thing. So, but
Hey, Gavin says in chat, he said if I install the 8.1 preview, will I have to reimage my system to get the 8.1 final? My understanding is yes.
okay. Well, the skinny on this is okay. If you want to do the preview, you have to go to. I just go to Windows.com. It will forward you to the Microsoft Windows site, and you go in there and you click I want to run this. It will download a little something to either your Windows 8 or your RT, and that will then ask you to reboot. You reboot, you'll come back and it'll say, boom, do you want to look at the 8.1 preview? That will enable you to do that. So you have to go to the website in order to start this whole process rolling. Now, if you put 8.1 on your RT or on your Windows 8, when it finally goes to final edition, release to manufacturing, whatever they're going to call it, and you eventually have to install that because your preview will time out. Yes, you will have to reinstall your applications. RT, you have to install your Metro apps. Windows 8, you will have to install your Metro applications and your desktop applications. It will not save those. It will keep your private data, your user data, and your user settings. So you'll have to reinstall all those applications. Now, if you have Windows 8 or you have Windows RT, you don't install the preview. When 8.1 comes out, you can upgrade to it and everything's fine. Everything will be perfect. It upgrade your apps, your desktop, everything. So if you just sit and chill and just listen to us tearing up our stuff and complaining that we have to reinstall our application. So in effect, what I've done is my RT has 8.1 preview on it right now, and it is virtually the same device that I had yesterday with RT. All of my apps are there. Everything is intact. But now I've just kind of sealed myself here. When the final does come out, I have to reinstall everything. So, but hey, this is the enthusiast thing. So
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
But that's a big one. So make sure you tell those folks. Make sure you go to work and tell those coworkers and everything. If you want to look at the preview, there's a little price to pay at the end. You're just kind of selling your soul here. So
Yeah, and you can download the ISO and install it in a standalone environment. You can stand that up. If you want to try it, if you got a nice Windows 8 box and you want to try it, and you don't want to use maybe you've got Windows 8 Home and you don't have the Hyper-V capability in that, put VirtualBox on there and run 8.1 virtually on Windows with Oracle's VirtualBox. That should work. I haven't tested it yet. I guess I need to try that, but that should work for you, and you can kind of test it virtualized. Yeah, there's no touch experience, which is kind of it's better with touch, but
yeah,
you have
and
to
the
have
question,
a peek at it. That's a good way to do it.
Yeah. The question in the chat room is this a service pack? And you remember back in the day when service packs actually had like features? It was like a feature pack and everything. So this is definitely not a service pack. Microsoft is moving away from that. They're just moving to iterating all those fixes and features into an update. That's where your .1 is coming from. It's not Windows 8 SP3 or SP2, SP1 anymore. We're talking Windows 8, and it's going to be 8.1. So definitely not a service pack. Service packs were just upgrade, and you're there. So this is kind of one of those things, Jim, because the Windows Home Server crowd, these guys are used to getting pre-released and kind of beta looks at software, and we would always have to caveat that and say, do not install this on a production machine. Even though a lot of us do, we still have to kind of throw that out there and say, do not install it on a production machine.
Yeah, unless
you're
setting up and tearing down all the time. I mean, if you're
that's not a production machine though.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's some times when I've torn my box apart a couple times in the process of, and I see what you're saying.
Yeah, no, if this is like,
right,
don't go down to accounting and put this on
right,
the accounting PCs. So that's kind of what we're saying here. Use your best judgment. Use your best judgment.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait to really dig in. I really want to see, like, I haven't even hit the store yet. The store is supposed to be different. It's supposed to feel different.
Here, I'll pop open the store here.
And everything is supposed to be different. I'm really excited about it. The only thing that I was kind of disappointed about is nothing on this yet.
Yeah.
Nothing on 8.1.
No, that's left out for sure.
I just started it on my RT, and it already just looks fantastic. That's the store, what you're looking at there. So I need to figure out how to get my RT into my window.
Yeah, I've got the store up too if you want to.
Okay.
If you want to pop over to it.
Mine came up. Movie Moments, Facebook, Piano 8, ESPN. What do you got there?
This is Movie Moments.
Let me go to
then some pics. So definitely a different look to the store for sure. I mean, that's a pretty big change.
Yeah, I'll definitely dig into this and see how it is. But yeah, I was a little disappointed that there was nothing in on Windows Phone. So
next year.
That's cool. That's cool. It's supposed to come. It's supposed to come.
I reached the PC limit for my account. You need to remove a PC from your Windows Store account before you can install apps on this PC.
Oh.
That's the drawback to having too many VMs running. Well, I've started a bunch of Windows 8 stuff on laptops lately too that I've just blown away. Later when I was done, and maybe I connected. Maybe I'll have to go into my account and deauthorize some PCs.
Yeah, you just have to do a little cleanup. Maybe you just want to.
Oh, so Tim's asking, is Media Center built into 8.1?
Guys, no, I don't think. I think you're still going to have to do the Pro thing and do the Media Center add-on. They're not going to change.
I don't know why it would be.
I cannot I can't tell you just actually officially, even though 6 Layer is saying officially, because my Windows 8 Pro behind me is Media Center. I've already installed it on there. I kind of goofed up. I was running out of time. I had that Media Center key, and you had to install it before a certain date,
Yeah,
and I
January
didn't get
1.
my Media Centers figured out before then, so
Yeah.
I had to install it. Yeah, I have a Pro key. You're right. I did install it with a Pro key. And I think you have to have a Pro, Windows 8 Pro, and then do the whole Media Center thing, which I think now you got to purchase, right?
Yeah, I'm going in and looking and see. Sorry, purchase isn't available in my region, so I don't have. Yeah, this isn't even working. The how to get the software, go buy upgrades or whatever. That's not even working in the store right now at this point. So if you go, I can enter a new product key if I'd like, but when I click, I want to buy a product key online. It goes, and I'm in the preview. It says, "Sorry, online purchases isn't available in your region. In most places, you can go to an electronics store." Are you kidding me? In most places, you can go to an electronics store and buy a product key.
That's wild.
That's crazy. That's funny.
It's funny
That
how I have 8.1 behind me, and the new store, there's an Instagram Now app. So funny how there's not an official app yet. It's I don't know. I that part of Windows Phone frustrates me. The amount of the apps that are like not official. Top paid, top free are all on the first page. It's really a good looking store.
yeah. No, it looks nice. They did a nice job. Icon's still the same, but no pun intended, icon. But there's a $4.99 HD media player. If you want to buy that.
iPhone cam. Look at there. My install is dead. So I'm
Not
going
working
to
so
be
well.
putting in the USB key yet one more time, and we'll.
So, Dave, 8.1, they're still arguing about this in chat. 8.1, no media center, right?
No,
Yeah, no media
no.
center. End of story. It's not there. I searched for it
Well,
to
I mean,
find it's
okay.
not
So
there.
do you want me to find mine?
No, because you've got yours already installed on there, right?
Well, I know, but just to make sure it didn't go away, right?
Yeah. Well, you check that. I know it's not there because I just did a search for it. It's not there.
Where's my dang mouse? Okay. Oh,
John, did you have media center installed on there before?
buy an Xbox One.
Yeah.
All right, can you see it? It's behind me. It's loading. I need to tilt my camera up.
Yeah. No. Media player's it. I have an 8.1 out of the box.
So I upgraded, and it's still here. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Yeah, I would imagine it'd come forward with the upgrade.
So it's still there. It still
They're not
looks
taking that
good.
away. There's going to be some support for it as well, right? You can still buy it and add on. You can't update it. You cannot update 8.1 to it right now, though. Although, I wonder what happened, Dave, if you took that product key that you bought when you bought, the upgrade, the $10 upgrade or whatever it was. And what if you put that in now on 8.1, if that would work to
That's a good
upgrade?
question.
It doesn't work. You can't buy anything in that. You can't do any upgrades to the preview. That part does not work. Can't do any upgrades. There's only one version available.
Well, the question would be so if you have 8.1 Pro, you had Windows 8 Pro. Then you go to 8.1 Pro. Can you go ahead and buy Media Center
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and slap that on there?
Yeah. Yeah. Or can you use that key and do it from an install, 8.1 install?
And hopefully that key will still work once you go to final. because I don't know if that would blow that app out of the water or that would stay
True.
as a
True.
Microsoft app, which probably would be core. It wouldn't. I don't know though. Good question.
Or you could just run Windows 7. Just saying. That might be the easiest way to do
Well,
it.
my
I don't know why
HTPCs, I
you.
left Windows 7.
It's yeah, me too. Yeah, I'm not going to change. There's
Yeah,
no
it
reason
was
to
too
change.
messy. Way too
Yeah,
messy.
no reason to change it at this point.
HTPCs are way too
I'm not up there
personal.
touching the screen, so
Yeah,
it doesn't really matter.
Son, stop touching the TV.
Who got their fingerprints all over my TV?
All right, so let's wrap this up. We have installed 2012, and I'm going to have to do it again. So thanks a lot, guys. Just reboot it. But I will get that installed and report back and hopefully put it in the show notes or something.
Well, don't let everybody think that their impression of it. I've got 2012 running right here. It installs just fine. It does probably take about 45 minutes, depending on your hardware, to get all the way through it and set everything up. And if you want to do that, just download that, but you have to have the key. Don't forget to get the key when you do that. Will not let you skip past the key like the trial versions.
Yep. All right. So I hope that wasn't terribly boring for audio listeners. This is going to be in YouTube, so go ahead and go out there and watch this. You'll see all the screens. You guys watching via YouTube did not see those screens, and what I do is when we have a show laden with all these screen switches and whatnot, I go out there to YouTube, delete what Google has done, and I'll re-upload the show later tonight, and that way you'll see everything. So if you want to re-watch this and watch the follies, and you can.
Well, lesson learned, right? Pay attention when you're installing something.
So we will see. Get out there in the forums. This is good stuff to start talking about Media Center in 8.1. If you want to talk about RT and Windows Phone 8, head over to SurfaceGeeks.net. The forums over there are really starting to rock and roll. You can help us keep that forum going and ask questions about RT and Windows Phone. I would certainly appreciate that. So if you want to jump on the podcast with me and Jim and talk about 2012 Essentials R2 and help us install and tear this up, please just drop me an email, podcast@homeservershow.com, and we will talk to you and we'll get that going. So Jim, thanks a bunch.
You bet, Dave.
All right, we're going to see you here next week, guys. Thanks a bunch. Bye.